it's really important for my kids' future that I vote today.
Certainly a historic day in America as millions of people across the country turn out to vote. Welcome to the News at 5, everyone. I'm Rick Ritter.
And I'm Denise Koch. It is going to come down to key battleground states to decide who wins the 2020 presidential election.
And we're also covering some big races here locally, that's for sure. That includes the Baltimore mayoral race, the 7th congressional race, and of course the sports betting vote.
And as you see, we have crews covering all those races, but we start with Rachel Menitoff, and she's talking about voter turnout. Very impressive, Rachel.
It is, Denise and Rick. So far, at last count, more than 344,000 people have cast their ballot today statewide. Here in Baltimore County, 36,000 people have been to the polls today and 23,000 people in Baltimore City. So a very robust turnout in our immediate area and also statewide. Here at the Randallstown Community Center, I'm told that there were long lines during early voting, the first couple of days of early voting, but at this hour, there is virtually no line once you get inside. Election Day 2020 brings long lines in Perry Hall.
The country needs change.
With some Baltimore County voters saying they prefer filling out a physical ballot.
I feel a little bit safer with just doing my vote in person.
1.6 million Marylanders opted for a mail-in ballot this year, and 300,000 have yet to drop it off. Election officials encouraging folks to now bring those to a drop-box location by 8 o'clock tonight.
I feel like any option is honestly okay as long as you get out there and you vote.
The significance of Election Day is not lost on first-time voter Victor Wamidi.
It's actually very humbling to be able to get the opportunity to vote, to exercise my civic duty for the first time.
And for Chris Scoville, who spent 20 years in the Air Force,
I think it's incumbent upon everybody to take advantage of our God-given right to vote.
The State Board of Elections on hand to answer questions, recognizing that this year is unlike any other.
And we've never had 1.3 million people vote by mail before, and we've never had 1 million voters vote in early voting.
The tradition of voting on Election Day, sacred for some, and many say one of the most important responsibilities we have.
I believe it's our right to turn out and vote so that at least we have a say in who governs us.
And you have until 8 o'clock tonight to vote in person or to bring your ballot to one of the drop box locations. Just make sure that you are in line by 8 o'clock and you will be able to vote. We're live in Baltimore County tonight. I'm Rachel Menitoff for WJZ.
Thank you, Rachel. Well, one of the key races, of course, on local ballots, who will become Baltimore's next mayor? And WJZ investigator Mike Halgren joins us now. And Mike, I know you had a chance to talk with each of the candidates today.
And Denise, we're seeing a lot of enthusiasm. The big issues for city voters: crime, education, the economy, and ethical leadership after several recent scandals at City Hall. In the uncertainty surrounding the election, there's one sure thing. Baltimore will have a new mayor, with Jack Young stepping down at the end of his term.
I believe we're going to have a major upset tonight.
Independent Bob Wallace may be an underdog, but he's outspent Democrat Brandon Scott in the general election race. He cast his ballot at the school in Cherry Hill he attended as a child.
One thing that stuck with me is the pain that people are feeling. It is the hopelessness that I saw, that nobody cares about them. The City Hall is not responsive to their needs.
Scott benefits from Democrats' massive advantage in voter registrations. He's been on the city council since 2011 and council president since last year.
This is what we do. We go out, we talk to people, we tell people, we show people how they know they can entrust me with being the leader of their city and how we're going to work every day to make Baltimore a better place.
Scott cast his ballot at Forest Park High, his mother's alma mater.
Here we go.
I'm just not voting for Brandon Scott.
Well, we need a new direction. Thank you, sir.
Pastor Shannon Wright is the Republican in the race, a mother of 4 who moved to the city in 2013. If elected, she'd be the first GOP mayor in more than 50 years.
When you look around the city, you see a dwindling quality of life. You see bad infrastructure. You see all those things. So you would ask people, what are you doing to deserve continuing to spend taxpayers' dollars?
The city faces persistent crime and economic challenges, and 2 mayors forced out of office for corruption in the past decade. All 3 candidates promise change, and the winner has a big job ahead. And a lot of people are voicing their choice this election with record early voting turnout. More than 23,000 city voters going to the polls today. And long lines here in Southeast Baltimore. Reporting live, Mike Halgren, WJZ.
All right, Mike, thank you. Another big race in our area is the seat for the 7th Congressional District. This is between the Democratic incumbent, Congressman Kwaisi Mfume, and the Republican, Kimberly Klacik. And WJZ is live at 5 o'clock. Avajoy Burnett has more from both candidates in these final hours of voting. Avajoy.
Hi, Rick. Well, the candidates have been vying for votes for months now. At this point, with less than 3 hours until the polls close, it's pretty much out of their hands. We followed both of the candidates earlier today, Representative Kwaisi Mfume and Kimberly Klacik, along with their supporters, as they pushed for those final votes. In the final stretch to the close of the polls.
Yeah, I'm supporting Kim Klacik. We are representing Mr. Kwaisi Mfume.
Democratic Congressman Kwaisi Mfume and Republican Kimberly Klacik were counting on last-minute voters to get them across the finish line. From Baltimore City to Howard County, we found people who support Kimberly Klacik.
Kim Klacik. And I'm voting for her because of her ideas. Okay. And I'm voting for her positive ideas. I think she's going to do a good job.
Well, first, her video went viral, so I love the video. And then I love the thing that she talked about as far as improving the community, especially in downtown Baltimore area.
A lot of enthusiasm, you know, not just at Wild Lake, but everywhere we stop today, in the city, over in Baltimore County as well, so we're excited.
Klacik's viral video about trash in Baltimore City put her on the national spotlight, but that message did not sit well with some Democrats who support the incumbent, Representative Kwaisi Mfume.
Let me ask you something. Would you like someone to come into your home and tell you your home is trash? That's how I took it. I don't think that she took into account the resiliency and the strengths of the community.
Who you voted for and why?
Kwaisi Mfume. Well, I grew up with the man, and he's been in office before, and he's coming back, so you go with what you know.
This is my 4th election in 10 months, and I want to thank all of the people of Baltimore City, Baltimore County, and Howard County for continuing to put their support in this campaign, for continuing to raise the right questions and be advocates for their community.
Now 5:06, the polls will close in less than 3 hours. If you get in line by 8, you will have an opportunity to vote. Live at 5, Avajoy Burnett for WJZ.